It's a fun way to start the episode. I feel like they always start
Say
so
a curse
boring.
word.
Ooh, should I? No, that'd be bad.
Ooh, I noticed that shirt is also him.
Ooh, it is also him. I got this from the Nintendo store.
Oh, you did? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I
I was
bought
just
it.
there. I was just there. Shut up. I knew you were going to tell the whole thing, but shut up. I got a Toad wallet.
What does that look like?
It's a long, like, lady's wallet. I got it because I thought a handheld would fit nicely in it, but then I think I just gave it to Hannah.
Hey, men can have purses too. I'm proud of you.
I
buddy.
got nothing. Look at how I'm sitting. I get made fun of for crossing my legs.
I did in primary school. Everyone in primary, I always sat like this. Everyone in primary school, like, doesn't that hurt your balls?
It's actually
it
better for my
it's
balls.
very comfortable, but I didn't want people to think I had small balls, so I started sitting like this. Bob, we both use Skillshare.
Yeah.
It's a really handy tool. It's a way of learning online.
Learning?
Let me tell you about it.
I'm too old to learn.
No, you're never too old to learn. You are old, but you're never too old to learn. You may know Skillshare for classes in photography, film, and video editing, and illustration, but did you know Skillshare has hundreds of career-focused classes too?
Career focused? Like what? I'm in YouTube. There can't possibly be classes for YouTube people.
There actually is. In fact, Mark S. Brownlee has done many... Sorry, that's how Will Smith pronounces it.
Marquez Brownlee?
But I have used Skillshare to be better at what I do. I've told you a bunch about Johnny
Vanderput, I think.
It's an interesting name. Interesting guy, too. And interesting courses on how to edit in Premiere, but also how to do After Effects. And while I know some basic stuff and some even intermediate stuff, he's really helped me learn how to do some really fancy effects for my videos, which is really cool. And it's easy. Little bite-sized classes right there for you.
I've used Skillshare for the keying out, for keying people out and moving them around. You know, when we have our ads and we usually do multiple of us, a key out.
What?
There's usually multiple of us. There are literally classes on Skillshare that teach you how to do that for keying with a green screen and for doing a mask and masking out certain areas.
There was actually a class for everything, not even for this kind of nerdy fun stuff.
I took a storyboarding class 10 years ago on Skillshare.
Being your own boss comes with hundreds of hurdles to navigate. With Skillshare's extensive class library, you can learn freelance tips, start a new project, or attract the right clients or start a business. Even if you're not ready to start a YouTube channel, Skillshare believes there's no goal too small. Yeah, it doesn't have to be about just starting a YouTube channel. Maybe you want to learn productivity tips to power more me time, or maybe the goal is to start building a personal brand style.
I would love to power more meat time.
That's something that... Is that what I said?
No.
That's probably something that I should do because you're really good at branding and all of that, and I am not. That might be a course for me.
Just ask.
Well, not from you. For Nontendo listeners, Skillshare is offering a 1-month free trial for the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description. Look, this is a free trial, and last time Skillshare was generous enough to sponsor us, we messed up and we put the wrong link in the description, and they were very nice and didn't get mad. So... if you're watching this and you think any of this sounds good, please click that link, get the free trial, and help support the channel.
And this time,
support yourself.
This time that link will work, and the first 1,000 of you will actually be able to get the free trial. It will be our fault.
We'll be in trouble.
We'll be in trouble. Don't get us in trouble, guys. Please.
All right. Thank you, Skillshare. Thank you, you guys. Zelda! Jesus. So there was a commercial back in the day.
Yep.
And the whole commercial, it was for a Zelda game, and the whole commercial was Zelda! Zelda! Just a guy running around a room looking for Zelda. And I have a theory that it was for the first Zelda. They hadn't seen the game yet. And they were just told you just look for Princess Zelda.
It's called The Legend of Zelda. What is it? So you play as Zelda? No, you don't play as Zelda. You're looking for Zelda. Oh, I get it. I get it. Roll tape?
If you watch the commercial, it's a random guy, like in a turtleneck and like frizzy hair in just a dark room, not even Hyrule. And he's just going, Zelda! Zelda! And then the commercial is gameplay with a voiceover like, look for Princess Zelda in the Hyrule Kingdom.
Oh my God.
You can tell they had no idea what the commercial was for.
Back then, like marketing for games was just whatever. Like, because the game was,
it was better back then.
It's 8-bit. So like it's up to your imagination. So a lot of times the marketing, like the Mega Man, the famous Mega Man 1
I've heard of him.
cover where it's like it's just a guy in a Speedo. Yeah.
But speaking about Mega Man, we wanted to talk about the new Mega Man game.
That's not true.
I meant Zelda. Speaking of Zelda.
I would love to talk about a new Mega Man.
You'd love there to be a new Mega Man game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there ain't. I get my game. There's a new Zelda. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have heard of it. Hopefully I've played more of it by the time this goes out.
I had an interesting thought. We had an interesting thought. So we've been gushing about Zelda. We had a whole episode gushing about Zelda. I finished it. You've given up. But baseline, we both love it. I mean, I adore it.
Yeah.
However, no game is perfect. Right. There isn't a perfect game. So for funsies, why don't we talk about what we actually don't like about this game, which might be a little frustrating to hear because no one wants to hear their favorite game.
Yeah, but you gotta think about it from the perspective that we genuinely love the game. You know, but I do have a lot of gripes.
Driving here, actually, I was watching Nakey Jakey's new video on Elden Ring. It's like 35 minutes long. He has a new
video? He posts like once every other month.
Yeah, no, that's why I jumped on it.
Wasn't it called like Why From Software Changed?
Yeah, it changed. Yeah. He is a huge Souls fan. Elden Ring is his favorite game of all time, and he essentially just gushes about it and explains why it's so incredible. But he spends like a whole 10 minutes talking about how it could be better, even though it's his favorite game. And I think that's a fun conversation to have. And there's definitely things in Zelda after I've played for 130 hours now that I might go in and tweak if I had the tools to do so. So let's break it down.
Okay. We got, I think it was on TikTok. I was seeing a lot of comments about how the controls are fine. There's nothing wrong with the controls. That was like one of our big criticisms.
I think that's copium.
Yeah,
I think the reason why you're seeing that, because it's such a weird thing to randomly say, is because they've seen the hate and they want people to know that they don't have a problem with them.
Yeah, skill issue
But I mean, if enough people are saying it to the point where you have to defend it, people are having a problem with it.
It's because there's
there's a problem.
There's a TikTok of us directly saying that there's an issue.
It's in response to us?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's different, but...
Yeah,
I do agree that the controls are a little wacky.
They're weird. It's.
But I also stand by, I don't see a way it could be that much better. The only thing I would want to change is the menu system. I'd want it all to be in the same, like the QuickTime menu system, all in the same HUD.
Wheels.
And wheels.
Yeah.
And you could just switch pages rather than like left is shields. Nope, let me get out of that. And then it unfreezes the game, and then we freeze it again for my swords. No, wait, I actually wanted my bow. I gotta unfreeze it again.
Yeah, there's a lot of, the thing is that there's a lot of small UI issues that add up, like a lot. Like the bow, to mess around with your bows, you have to have the bow equipped. And pulling your shield out right after a bow sometimes just doesn't work. That's another thing. If you want to mess with your shields, you have to have the shield equipped.
I want to test this and go back to Breath of the Wild, but I swear in this game, when you attack and then you go to change your sword, there's like a 2 or 3 second delay before it allows you to bring that menu up. But in Breath of the Wild, you could instantly like attack, and then like as the hit lands, you can change your weapon. In this one, there's such a big pause to the point where the enemy will get a chance to pretty much attack or queue up their attack before you can change your weapon.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating. I want to go back and test if I'm just imagining it, but like literally I'll be like spamming the D-pad, just like hoping that it comes up.
Yeah, sometimes I'll press a button and I'll be like, oh, maybe I hit the, this all happens within like a second. Like I'll press a button and I'll be like, oh, maybe that was the wrong button. And then I'll press every other button and then go back to that button. And it happens a lot. I think we said we throw our swords all the time.
Oh, I do that too.
I don't. Only because I'm terrified of doing it. So I never touch the right D-pad for any reason.
The right
button.
Right trigger, yeah. I forgot why that. I think it's because you pick things up with the Ultra Hand and then you rotate it with R. So then it feels like you just want to just really quickly like do that. And
you get used to pressing R.
Yeah. A lot because you're holding L with the Ultra Hand.
And you take the L.
And then you take the big L.
You can throw items in this game by holding R first to ready your weapon. then you press up on the D-pad and change what's in
That
the
is
hand.
really dumb. It should
Yes.
be up on the D-pad and then R to equip it, and then you hold on.
Yes.
That's what it should be.
And when you press up on the D-pad, R doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for it not to register to like going to throw.
Yeah, it should
It
be
is
like
the weirdest thing. And I don't think I've thrown by hand a single thing in my 130 hours because I'm just so scared of pressing R. I'm like never going to press it.
that. Also, I haven't figured out how to what do you call it? Friggin' meld
Sex.
something when you
Smash
fuse is the word.
I was getting close.
I need a lot of help.
You were doing all kinds of movements, bro.
Fuse. You ever heard of it?
Weapons or like
They blow in my house.
I can't. They stopped in my house. That used to be a big problem. I got an electrician for you. I
got boba.
I can't figure out how to fuse something without having it equipped. You have to have it equipped, right?
Yes.
To fuse it.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You have to, like, if I have something in my inventory that I want to fuse to my weapon, you have to hold it and then drop it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not? Why can't I just do that
Yeah.
from the menu?
Yeah.
If I'm going into the menu to hold the item,
I think
why
because-
can't I fuse it from the menu?
I think because it's so satisfying to do it and see it happen that they really wanted that to be the way it happened.
it's satisfying when you do it in the world, sure,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not satisfying having to go into the menu, hold it, and then drop it.
But I will say,
They could also make that menu item satisfying.
true. I will say at least they made it so when you're flicking through in the QuickTime menu, you can drop from there and you can just drop it out. That was a huge change.
Oh, you don't just hold it, you can just straight up drop it?
Yeah.
No, yeah, like you know how you press R and you see all your weapons come up?
Oh, from
right.
there. Yeah.
You can drop from in there.
You mean the D-pad?
Yes.
Okay.
When you're in the game and you press the D-pad and it comes up in the freeze menu, you can drop anything from in there now.
Oh, okay.
In Breath of the Wild, you could only drop if you went into the menu hard.
I've been hitting pause, holding the thing, and then dropping it.
So it is actually pretty easy to like, if you want to fuse one of the things like a weapon, to just go into the QuickTime, drop it, then fuse.
I would still prefer to just go
Yeah.
into the menu and say,
But at least there's that.
fuse this.
Also, like with the arrows, you could just fuse directly from that menu, right?
The
That you
arrows,
can. The arrows.
the
fuse.
arrows are so easy.
Yeah.
The arrows I have no problem
Why
with.
isn't that everything? Do
Yeah.
that, but with everything.
The arrows are super easy to fuse. I love fusing the arrows.
Yeah.
I've been finally messing. You know what? I haven't really done as much experimenting as I thought I would in high school. Sorry, that slipped out.
All right.
As much experimenting as I thought I would with the items. Like when you watch the trailer, they were like, you can put a mushroom on the shield, and then when you get hit, the enemies won't see you.
You flashbang them, yeah.
The amount of battles I've struggled in, and then like 100 hours in, I went, oh yeah, I could like do this or that or this. Why am I just so archaically trying to kill everything
Yeah.
like it's Breath of the Wild? So now in post game, I'm trying to mess around and do more things, and some things are really cool. There's a enemy you find at some point that I won't ruin too much, but it drops a bone, and when it's really strong, it's like material. But when you put it on a sword, it breaks first hit
Yeah,
every
I've been
time.
doing that. I've been
And I
doing
was
that.
like, what's the point in this? But then I realized arrows get one use. You put it on a heckin' arrow, and now you have like a really strong arrow.
I was just praising this game for not being like a Souls-like, because in a Souls-like you can accidentally, I think it was Dark Souls 2 or something, or maybe the first Dark Souls. You spawn and then you can go right into a cave that is an end game cave, and like you're not supposed to be there, but the game makes you think that it's like very easy to lead you there. And then you just get one shot and you're like, this is the game, I'm getting one shot. And then you open a guide and it goes, whatever you do, don't go in that cave, go around it.
It's interesting that you think it's not like a Souls-like, because I think these two Zelda games are more like Souls-likes than Zelda has ever been.
I was praising it for not being like that. And then it turns out it is kind of like that.
But I will say that I would like to know what I would have done if Tears of the Kingdom was my first time playing Zelda, or I didn't remember anything about Breath of the Wild, because for me, it told me to go to Rito Village first. So I went there first. And from there, my brain...
I thought I did. Where is Rito Village?
You did. If you did the bird area?
Yeah. Okay. That's why I went there, yeah.
And in my brain, after that, when I'm sat there, I'm like, where do I go next? I'm like, well, I could go to another main checkpoint, or I could try and going to all the towns, like the Kakariko Village.
That's what I did. I went to the closest main checkpoint, which ended up being the end game checkpoint. I wanted to go to the first the closest event phenomenon.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was the one to the south.
Well, that's not endgame. That's just a tricky one.
It's just a hard one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Where
think,
everything one-shot me and everything
Well,
was impossible to fight.
I don't think any of them are supposed to be hard. I think they're all equivalent. I think some of them just appear trickier because you have to worry about weather conditions or stuff.
Something was wrong with that one because everything was extremely powerful down there.
Oh, you mean the undead guys?
Yeah. Well, no, there was just bokoblins that were just had like armor and stuff, and then there was the giant sandworm thing that hones in on you.
Oh, but he's easy to beat if you know how.
Okay. he literally he looks at you and then you immediately get one shot.
Yeah, so he senses
because I had 4 hearts.
He senses things on the ground, so
Yeah.
you just put something on the ground somewhere else, and he goes for that, and then you attack him.
Oh, like Tremors,
like the Monster Hunter movie,
like the movie Tremors with
I haven't
Kevin
seen it.
Bacon.
I
Oh
only
my
watch,
god,
I only watch
so
good movies like the Monster
like
Hunter
Tremors
movie,
Tremors
with
3?
Mila Jovovich. You know, the Resident Evil girl.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I will concede that area is probably. I think it's the hardest out of all 4.
Yeah, I know you said that before,
Yeah.
and then I said it was the end game area. Then you yelled.
I don't
at me.
think it's end game hard, but it's definitely like the hardest.
It's the 4th phenomenon.
I always leave Goron City till last. I say always out of these 2 games that I've played because I hate having to deal with the heat thing and trying to figure out, okay, how do I get not hot this time?
Yeah, that was the 3rd place I
Yeah.
went, and then that was when I was starting to get pretty frustrated.
Yeah.
I want to hear Hannah talk because she also she doesn't play a lot, and she started playing this game, and I thought that was a little surprising that she actually played a significant amount of it, and she was complaining a lot.
I have some late game gripes I can go over, but let's do this first.
Okay, well, I did complete Rito Village. I only completed one of the regional phenomenon, but I think I went to the Goron first, and then I got down into
You got pretty far in the Goron.
Yeah, I got
saw
down
you
into
doing
the
some
underground
stuff.
area, and then I just noped out of it, and I was like, I think I should have listened to the dialogue that told me to go to a certain regional phenomenon because I felt like I shouldn't be there.
Were you on fire?
It was just dark, and like I know you have to use the seeds or whatever, but
Okay.
I just was totally lost, and I was like, am I missing something here? Am I supposed to be here?
Wait, in the depths?
So in the depths, yeah. So
That
yeah,
happened to me too. I ended up in the depths before even doing the first phenomenon, but
Yeah.
and then I noped out of there too. But
The
I had a lot of
depths-
fun in the depths there.
The way they try and set that up, it's right near the lookout. There's a depths, and there's a little bit of story down there, and you get a feel for the depths, and then after that, it's on you.
That's
You
how
either
I felt. Yeah.
Can or
Yeah.
you don't go down there.
so yeah, like Wood said, I like kind of like discovering things for the first time. I really like doing the shrines and everything. So I've just been trying to unlock the map and like leveling up, so the rest of the game should be easier.
How much
But-
of Breath of the Wild did you play?
I think I beat like 2 of the Divine Beasts. I didn't finish
Okay,
it,
so we're
but
on the same page.
yeah,
But
That's
it's
a
been a
perfect
while,
version.
right?
it's been a while. Yeah.
Because you were complaining that they don't really tell you much in the beginning about like the actual mechanics of the game,
Right.
like
I
fighting
did, yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, I did feel like that in the beginning, and the shrines that explain that are all kind of like weirdly spread
Yeah,
out. It feels
that
like
is really weird.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that in the first game too.
It was, but I feel like this one was even more egregious. Like I
Yeah.
got like 40 hours into the game, and then it taught me about bows and how to hit a
Yeah.
headshot. I was like,
Right.
"Whoa." And it was somewhere really random in the game. I'm like, if I'm here, I've figured this out by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you're not like I think it's like kind of a level of confidence that comes with this kind of game. Like you just you need to know like that you are going in the right way. Like sometimes it feels like you aren't, but if you have that confidence, like you'll keep like going on the path you're going. But I was sometimes like doubting myself if I should be there.
Yeah, you played a significant amount of the game. Like if she didn't want to play it, she would have stopped playing. But
Yeah.
you were I knew that you liked it because you kept playing
Yeah.
and you played a lot of it, but you were complaining the whole time you were playing.
Yeah, sometimes the shrines they get in my head, and I'm not the
She would get
not the brightest
frustrated.
bulb, but
She would get frustrated, but then she would beat it.
yeah,
You know?
The wacky thing with the shrines this time around is I find a lot of their puzzles that they've kind of designed and the way you're supposed to do it confuses me.
yeah,
But then I always find out a weird, stupid way of doing it instead.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Yeah,
It's
it's
fun.
better. I've solved almost every shrine the same way.
Oh, I wanted to talk about how frustrating it is playing it on Twitch. That's kind of why I stopped playing it, because I don't want to play it on Twitch anymore.
I want to quickly say something to her
Yeah,
point,
go ahead.
though.
Go ahead.
About the not really knowing where to go or like feeling you might be in the wrong way. I think that's kind of the beauty of this game, where there are harder parts, but if you're finding it too hard, it's not that you shouldn't be there. You can explore at any point you want to. But if you're finding it too hard, you can just go somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think like someone who plays video games a lot knows that, but and they know it's kind of like an open world game. But if you don't really know that and you think the story's more linear, you're like, oh, like did I miss something?
That makes sense.
I'll
Zelda is a breed of its own. It's not like Ubisoft games where they're open world just to be open world. This game and Elden Ring, they utilize the open world in a way that's very freeing. So yeah, you can just go anywhere you want and do anything you want. There's no wrong way to play at all.
I'll say I'm on my third place now that I'm going to. Like I got noped out of 2 to 3 different places.
If you enjoy exploring the game, getting noped out of somewhere can still be fun
That's
because
what I'm
you
saying.
explore somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think this game is for somebody who just wants
Yeah.
to, do the missions and get to the end.
It's one of the most overwhelming games I've played.
It's very
I couldn't
overwhelming, yeah.
imagine going in with the mindset of, let me rush this.
Yeah.
Because it's just, you're going to
But that's the thing, is that like it's not rushed. I don't think it's rushing to want to beat the game in 30 hours.
You could, I think you could figure it out in 30 hours.
Yeah.
If you really wanted
If you're not
to.
speedrunning it, right? Like if you're, because someone speedran it like day one and like,
You can beat the game in an hour.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if you really were committed to like, okay, screw everything, you can already build things with fans. Just build a flying device and just fly to the next area and just skip everything, or just beeline to the towers.
That's what I did.
And fly from
That's
the
what I did. I
towers.
flew to the area I wasn't supposed to be in.
You can,
And then I had to leave.
You can crush it. The only thing that's going to get in your way is the really hot area, because you have to find a solution for that.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to beeline straight in, that's going to be tough.
Yep. I
But-
flew right into it. And now I'm like, great, now everything's on fire.
But it does kind of tell. It does kind of tell you how to do it. Literally, the part of the game that's locked out behind being on fire, there is a store right next to it that sells the thing.
Well, I went into the store that had the $700 suit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't have $700. I'm broke. And
Did you sell anything?
I didn't have much. And then I was very tempted to do a duplication glitch, but then I was like, I'll just go to the Zora thing. It's probably easier anyway.
You wanted to talk about the glitches too.
I do want to talk about the glitch.
I still want to talk about some late game gripes, but Twitch.
Yeah, does Hannah have anything more to say?
I was wondering if you guys, like how often you guys use the Zonai devices to build things. Because I feel like
Oh.
I'm underutilizing
I do
those
it a lot
At
for
this point,
traversal.
all the time.
all the time.
At first, my brain really wasn't like wired to anything other than I can make brum brums. So I didn't want to make too many of those because I didn't want to blitz through the game. I didn't want to like ride too quickly through it on like flying devices. But now that I'm late game and I'm exploring and trying to get places quickly, I have like an air bike that I made, and I can like air bike places. But again, there isn't like a wrong way to play. Like if you don't want to make the Zonai devices, just don't make them and just do it your own way.
I honestly use the Ultra Hand in the reverse the most to like get up high,
Yeah.
and then I just use the power glider to fly around. But I do use like if I see the makings of a car or a boat, I will ham that together and go.
I haven't played enough of it to even
Yeah.
get to that point. So I want to do it, but there's like Peanut Butter Gamer just put out his review on it, and he was saying that he's like, yeah, I am 100 hours in and I really didn't do any building.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
No, you don't have to.
But-
It just depends on how creative you are or what it is you really want to build. Like I've struggled in fights that I've seen someone online beat in a second because they built like a death machine.
Yeah, I want to
those
do
are
that.
Crazy.
I want to get the auto build.
That's sick.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
get that.
I saw someone build a machine that was like a bunch of walls that went in like a C shape. And then there were springs on the inside with spiked walls, and they just went like this the whole time. And it was on wheels, so he could drive it around. So he would drive up to a Lionel and just smash him a bunch until he died. It was sick.
That's awesome.
I got to make that.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be cool to like do and stream, like you building things
I
and
did
doing wacky stuff.
I built a truck on stream.
That's awesome. I actually saw that.
Yeah.
It looked like it was part of the game, but you were just
Yeah.
having a good time with yourself.
Yeah, it looked even more like part of the game because the part of the game I was in had arches and it looked like checkpoints.
Yeah,
it looked
it
like
did.
I was driving through checkpoints.
I literally thought you were doing like a mission.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of stopped playing it because I was getting really frustrated with doing shrines and then people telling you like
on
what
Twitch.
Because like to a certain extent, I don't mind somebody telling me where to go because I want to just get to the end. I want people to tell me where to go. But the shrines is like a puzzle. This game is really just a puzzle game.
The whole game is a puzzle game.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's cool. I like that.
That's another reason why I get a little frustrated when people are like, I want dungeons because of the puzzle. The whole game is a puzzle game.
Yeah.
It's the whole map is one big dungeon.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you don't go into as many linear dungeons. The whole thing is a dungeon.
Yeah. I like that. I like little small tiny dungeons that they just get out of the way.
And it feels valuable. Like it feels like you're earning something for doing those. There's the incentive to go in there. So
especially when they're optional.
Yeah. What really got me frustrated is going into one of these puzzle shrines and then you're messing around trying to figure out what to do because you just touch a bunch of stuff and look around and eventually something will happen. You know, you see all of these items around you, you start picking them up and start figuring out what to do. And then you pick up one and then a light bulb clicks. And you're like, oh, this glides. I can use this to glide. The second I lift it up, I go, oh, this glides. Somebody in chat, it glides, you idiot. Go over there. It glides.
Go
Like, I saw what you saw, man. Give me a second to figure it out.
In here.
So I started yelling at the chat and I was like, I don't want to fucking play this on stream anymore.
I streamed my whole playthrough and like by the second stream, I had an automatic reflex of the second I knew in the game, I want to solve this. I didn't look at chat. I was done with chat. And I would even be saying like, I'm not looking at you right now, chat.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anyone, and they will. It doesn't matter. I have no backseating in my title. In like the tags, there's no backseating. People will still backseat.
Yeah.
And then they'll say things like, is it backseating to tell him what to do next? Like they don't even understand what backseating is.
Yeah.
It was very
Not in a
frustrating.
car. What's he talking about?
I
He's
said
not
that once.
driving anywhere.
Hannah told me like to make a left somewhere while we were driving, and I was like, "Stop backseating, but in a car." Yeah, but I also like how you could solve the puzzles any way you want. So like that's another thing when Twitch chat is telling you the way to solve the puzzle, but you have a wackier way
there's not
that's
a way.
in your mind.
There's a way that you did it.
Well, there's the way that seems like what Nintendo wants you to do, but then you're like, I can build this wacky contraption, and you'll lose that if somebody tells you what to do. That's more fun to do some whacked out shit to get to the other side.
Yeah, this is a very streamer specific problem, but yeah, that's why I was so adamant. And I must have got annoying for my chat over 11 streams, but I just kept saying no spoilers, no backseating. I was so rigorous with it. I was like, don't even ask me if I've done something yet. Because on the first stream, someone was like, have you gone to a stable yet and like checked in your old horses? And I was like, you're spoiling it by like asking, it's like, have you got the Majora's Mask yet? It's like, you're spoiling it.
I saw that really early, like the second day the game was out, people were getting all these wacky outfits. And I was like, I would have liked to have seen that in the game.
So
Didn't they have that in Breath of the Wild, though?
They did have that in Breath of the Wild.
So.
But I yelled at them so much that my chat, even with like 1,000 people in there, had nothing to talk about because they felt like they couldn't talk about the game. They were too scared to say anything about the game. People were getting timed out and banned left, right, and center. But the thing is, I need to review this and I also want to experience it. And I don't want a tainted experience and a tainted review. I don't want to go on my review and be like, well, the puzzles were kind of easy. And then you look at my playthrough and I'm like, all right, chat, what do I do here? And they're just telling me what to do. You know, I want to experience it for myself. Plus, I don't think I solved a single shrine the way I was supposed to. So why would I want someone to tell me how to do it when I could just do it myself?
Yeah.
were there any that like really stumped you or anything you had to look up or kind of consult with the chat?
You said there was one that made absolutely no sense.
So early, I don't know if this is the one, but early on, before I'd really adapted to the Tears of the Kingdom lifestyle of like, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
There was 2 sensors on the left and right side of the dungeon, and a ball was constantly rolling forward. And you had to, what it kind of made it look like you had to do was build a paddle and then time it so it hit it into the thing, the ball into the thing. And I spent like an hour.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter.
Trying to hit it over.
I think people see that as the hardest one.
It was so hard. And then my Tears of the Kingdom brain didn't even kick in that day because I beat it. Days later, it kicked in. Anything can touch that sensor. Doesn't have to be that ball. I could literally have just thrown something at it and it would have worked.
So did you sit there and wait for it to baseball
I sat there
in
until
there?
I got it.
Okay.
Like the way you're supposed to, but I could easily have hacked it and cheated it. I think that when that hit me was because I saw a clip online of someone trying to do it and the paddle that they had made broke and went flying and the ball puddled. Didn't even get anywhere near, didn't even leave the ground. But the part that broke snapped off and flew into the sensor and hit it.
Oh.
And that counted. And that's when I was like, oh, the ball didn't have to hit it. Anything could have hit it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the game is that,
Yeah.
you can do it any way you want. I actually solved a puzzle last night. I had to get really high and get up somewhere. And like, I didn't even take a second to try and figure out what the game wanted me to do. There was a chest in there that I had already got. So I glued the chest on a slant on a pole, like a flag almost, and then just lined it up. And I ascended through the empty chest and stood on it like a platform and then just hopped over. I don't even know what the game wanted me to do. I'm in this, I've done 150 shrines now and I'm just in the zone of like getting in, getting out. Like I don't even look at the shrine. I look at where the exit is and then I see if there's any like switches I have to hit. And if there's not, I'm like, I'm just going to get over there.
Yeah.
I always make sure to have rockets on my shields at all time because chances are you can just walk into a dungeon or a shrine, rocket up and go to the exit.
That's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that. I think I solved one by taking a fan,
Mm-hmm.
just like dropping it down and
Yeah,
doing
I think
that.
I saw you do that one.
Yeah.
Do you think that like some people would get turned off by the game by being able to like kind of just skip through the puzzles? Because like when I play like Fallout, and I do this every time I play Fallout. I'll play it for like 20 hours and then I'll go into God mode and I'll put everything out and then I'll hate the game and I don't want to play it anymore.
I don't think so. And here's why. No matter how you solve it, it always makes the Zelda sound. Da-da-da-da-da-da, of you have figured it out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how many times you get in
It's
there
always
and do
rewarding.
it. It's always
It
rewarding.
doesn't feel like a cheat.
And the quicker you do it, the better you feel.
Also, it like I'm sure the rocket solves a lot of them, but not all of them.
Not all of
you know,
them, yeah.
like you're gonna still you can't just God mode every single one.
I saw one where a guy, there's like lava and he like made an accordion bridge that like opened up and just shot out and he just went over I was like, that is sick.
That
I
is-
didn't even think about that.
It's so cool, man. There was a lava one where like at the far end, there were those water fountains spitting into the water and it was making several platforms like slowly move towards me. And my first thought was, okay, so I've got to like hop on all of these. And then very quickly, my second thought was, I'm just going to reverse one. So I stood on it and started reversing it. And it was like shoving all the other platforms out of the way as it just brought me to the thing and went da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's just so good. Like you can't, and there's so many ways you could have done it, but that's just such a cool way of doing it.
I watched you do one the electric one, and you breezed through it.
I breezed through most of them.
It was later in your playthrough, but then at the end, there's a part where you have to take a piece of like there's two metal things, and you have to get the electricity to cross them. So you and I did the same thing. We just took a metal weapon and we're like,
Yeah,
dunk,
I just dropped
dunk,
metal
Why
weapons.
is it dunk? It's not working. I forgot you got through it in a wacky way.
I think what I ended up doing was dropping two metal weapons and attaching them together because I think they just weren't enough. You needed two to really hit and get the electrical current.
There you go.
You know what my absolute
You're
favorite...
supposed to. There's like a cog wheel. You go bunk.
Yeah,
bink,
I
and
actually
that's it.
realized that on the way out.
Took me a long time.
I was walking past it and was like, oh.
I only knew that because Chad ruined it for me.
My absolute favorite moment, I think, in my whole playthrough that I was streaming is in the Goron City temple. You have to get 5 of those, whatever they were in that, the gongs that you had to ring. And there was one I just couldn't get to. There was a massive tower with multiple levels, and I was flying around it for like 45 minutes to an hour, and I couldn't find the way in. There was mine carts everywhere. I mine carted around the whole thing. I was losing my mind. I could see there was multiple levels, and it was what I needed was at the very bottom layer. So I knew there had to be an entrance up top somewhere, looking everywhere. I finally, after running around the base, I just had this dumb thought. There was a lava on the ground everywhere. So I got one of the fountains and I started spraying onto the lava and started making rock platforms. And then I connected them all, and you could just fit underneath the entire structure. And I zipped up through. And I got the gong. And my chat, who'd been watching me for a long time, went nuts because nobody had done it that way. And I was like, is that the way I was supposed to do it? And it was a sea of no. Just no. There's an entrance at the top. And I looked up and I could see a ton of stuff, and I just walked out, didn't have to do it. And people in chat were saying that was so creative. I had never seen anyone do it that way. And it was at that moment that, even though I had a lot of other moments, it was that moment that I went, this game's sick. Because it could have not let me do that. It could have just, they could have just stopped that part of the floor, put something over the top so no one could zip through. And the whole time I was doing it, I was like, please let this work. And it always works.
Yeah. Ocarina of Time wouldn't let you do that.
Ocarina of Time wouldn't let me do that.
Ocarina would have been like, no, you didn't walk on this pixel and press this button.
I agree with that.
Pointing it the right way.
I mean, this is, and I've said this before, but this is the developers really letting go of their hubris, in the sense of like, we've designed this puzzle, you better solve it the way you're supposed to, and just do what you want.
Nintendo, you have to play the game the way we developed it.
Cheating feels good. I think that's actually a quote from one of them. Yeah. And the whole game is about cheating, just figuring out the wackiest way.
It's God mode. It is. They gave you God mode.
But just enough that like you still have to figure it out.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be talking about what we didn't like about the game.
Yeah, I know.
Now we've somehow found our way around into gushing about it.
So I'll say in really late game, something that I've realized about the land of Hyrule as far as the planes, a lot of missions and a lot of side stuff always ends up in caves. And a lot of the caves are the same.
It's like Skyrim.
Yeah, just so.
They copied and pasted caves.
And I've realized recently, initially there was such a thrill every time I'd find a new cave and it'd come up with new discovery, and I'd look around to see what was in there, especially going down the wells to begin with. It was like always a new well to find. But now I've gone in so many caves and they are all the same.
Yeah.
And I think that had lost a little bit of charm on me a long time ago. So now a lot of discoveries on the land of Hyrule, it feels like, because they're reusing the land, and it felt like they were like, okay, we can go up and we can go under, but what can you find on the actual plains that are new without changing too much? Well, let's do like giant caves everywhere. And that's a really cool idea, but they all feel very samey. I keep finding cave after cave after cave. It has one frog in there that I can shoot and get a little like gem out of. And then
you give to the weird guy.
Yeah, you give to the weird guy. And then a few rocks to break and get amber. And then you're probably done and you leave and you just go to the next cave.
Yeah. So
that feels a little samey. It's getting kind of repetitive.
I mentioned the item duplication glitch before, and then you made a really stank face.
Twitch chat's one reason why I made that face, because I hate doing stuff like that.
I decided I didn't want to do it.
I was watching Fried Biscuits.
It felt a little too easy.
Our buddy last night, Fried Biscuits, we were just sat in Discord before you guys joined, and we played some Sick Val and lost. And he brought up his game and he had 150,000 rupees. And I was like, my God, tell me your secrets. I'm broke in this game. And he's like, duplication glitch. And I was like, all right, never mind. Don't tell me.
So they patched one of them out, but there's more now?
I just saw this morning they found a new one. They keep finding new ones.
I saw one that doesn't seem like a glitch. It seems legitimate. It's when
if it's not supposed to be in the game.
That's what I mean. This seems like I don't know a way around it. Like there's the one where you just multiply 1 billion times, you know, and it just goes over and over again, and all of a sudden you end up with 50,000 whatever. This, you get the arrow that shoots 3 arrows. You know, the bow and arrow that shoots 3 arrows.
Yeah, to Lionel bow.
Yeah, you take a diamond, put it on an arrow, and then it turns into 3 arrows, and then you just go pick up the 3 arrows. That seems like not a glitch. That just seems like that's how the game is.
That's probably like, oh yeah, you could do that.
I saw it on TikTok.
Okay, that's actually sick.
Right? That's just like part of the game.
Actually.
Yeah. I'll do. The glitch I won't do.
When it's like you gotta pull out your sword and you jump, do a backflip, and then right as you're in the peak of the flip, you bring up the menu and you drop the sword, and then you have to get back in the game and shield switch, and then if you like turn right 90 degrees, your second weapon in your first slot will get duplicated. I don't.
That's clearly not intended.
Yeah, I hate that.
This is like
you're onto something.
That just
there.
makes sense.
Yeah,
it's the game. You get 1 arrow turns to 3. Just go pick them up.
That was actually a revelation for me too, realizing that everything I attached to that bow got duplicated because for the longest time, I was using the eyeballs, the heat-seeking eyeballs, which are sick.
Those are great.
Oh, and you have 3 of them?
You have 3.
That's cool. Yeah.
And then like when you fight
you have a lot of enemies.
Well, also the Gleeoks.
Oh, they got 3 heads.
They got 3 heads, and they legit do hit each head.
That's cool.
I know.
That's cool.
I know.
I think that stuff, what you're saying, like that the arrow thing, that's not a glitch. That's definitely part of the game. But the actual duplication glitch, that would make me feel like how I feel when I do that stuff in Fallout. Or I'm like, that isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, I would.
Because you're not struggling. You're making it so like the whole point of this game is
I would probably do that at the end if I've beaten everything and I want to just mess around. But if I'm doing a first playthrough, I don't want to break it necessarily.
Yeah, the diamond thing, it still breaks it. Like the 3-shot thing. Like I almost wonder if it's just
it's not as quick as a duplication glitch because you have to go pick them up.
We just shoot at the ground.
You shoot down.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to break the arrows though. I think you might break them if you're that close.
I think you're fine breaking the arrow if you get a diamond.
Yeah.
Oh, does that work? I thought it might.
I don't know. I'm hearing about it now for the first time.
I don't know.
I feel like I wonder if this is one of them things where there's so much in this game Nintendo just didn't catch that because that feels.
Well, what do you do? How do you fix that?
You can't.
You make it so
it costs 3 diamonds to attach it while you have a 3 arrow equipped.
I guess.
No, why would it cost 3? Shouldn't it cost 1 because that 1 arrow turns into 3 with that bow?
That's why.
Yeah,
that's
he's
why
saying,
it's a duplication
how
glitch.
do we fix it? It costs 3 instead of 1.
That would be the fix.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Like they knowingly make it 3 because it splits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. I feel like the whole point is that's just multiplying.
Yeah, because that would break some stuff. Like if you have the eyeball, then you would need 3 eyeballs to shoot with that arrow.
I would still consider doing that in situations, but I wouldn't do it as much because I'd burn through my stocks too quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible that they do update that.
Are you sure you don't shoot 3?
No, you shoot 1.
You shoot 1.
Because it has that effect.
But
like,
you haven't even have got one of those bows yet. Are you sure?
Well, in Breath of the Wild, that's how it was.
You can't fuse to Breath of the Wild.
No, I'm not saying fuse, but
that's
when
what
you
I'm
have
saying.
That bow,
I know
you
that.
use that 1
You
arrow.
use
You
one
use
arrow.
1 arrow.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
true. You
That's
use
what
one
it
arrow.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I want to try that when I get home.
But
that'll break it because there's a lady in Goron City that will buy 10 diamonds for 5,000.
Ooh.
You could break that if you
Yeah.
wanted. I wonder if that's how Bingle did it.
No, he did the sheer
glitch.
backward
The
flip
backflip,
thing. Yeah.
pause.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's surprising that like Nintendo didn't catch that because they have to do R&D.
Maybe it's one of them things where cheating feels good. Maybe they just put it in that
I feel
category.
like- yeah, I
More
feel
than
like
cheating,
that-
I feel that's not. I don't think that's the cheating they're talking about.
I feel like that they're like, we're gonna have to deal with some people using this as
Because you
an
literally
exploit.
see I've seen the glitch and like you see the game blip when you do that.
when you do the item duplication.
The duplication
glitch. Yeah,
glitch.
not the
Well,
arrow.
that-
the
that-
arrow
I'm
talking
thing
about
is just
that.
looks
I'm
I mean,
completely
the
legitimate.
arrow one.
Oh, the arrow
For the
thing, yeah,
arrow
that's-
one, they
that's-
might have had the mentality of, well, if they figure it out, they figure it out.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
which is really lax of Nintendo to even think.
Well, the whole game is lax.
True,
But that one definitely breaks the economy. But I got to be honest, the economy was one thing I was going to bring up where I feel like it's kind of broken in this game in general because every time I bring this up in chat, they're like, no, I make money really easily. All you do is you go to the snow area and you hunt prime ribs and you get 5 and then you sell for 300. And if you do that in a loop for 20 minutes, you'll make 1,000 rupees. I'm like, that's my problem though.
We got
Is that-
we got TikTok hustlers
Is
in friggin'
is that everyone that has their ways of making money, it's all like hacks. You know, someone else was like, oh, I do it by finding the bunnies and I just quick time and I shoot them a bunch and I just hunt the bunnies. And I'm like, if I'm playing a 120-hour game where I have all of this overwhelming content, I should be making money organically.
I do it by drop shipping rocks from Goron City.
helping people or like saving someone. I ended the game with like 1,000 rupees at 100 hours.
Broke hero.
Because you don't get money for anything
Yeah.
unless you do some like crazy hacks or like, and that's why the glitches are so popular, because people need ways of making money.
Because I want $700 to buy a heat suit,
I know.
and I got 10. I got $10.
How far into you to the game? Like 20 hours maybe? And you have like 10 rupees?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Broke.
you don't get enough money in this game.
Yeah.
Like the whole way through, you don't make enough unless you do some like crazy. And I was saying that like a lot of people are cooking in the game. What is Link's part-time job? A chef?
Yeah.
It's just like he saves Hyrule, but he's also a Michelin star chef. Like,
Yeah, that's what Hannah was
I
saying
shouldn't
to me.
need a side job here.
Hannah was like, I don't understand what all the food does, like all the power-ups and stuff. I was like, I don't either. I just do it so I can eat something so my hearts go up. Like, I just mash stuff together and go, oh, it's this many hearts? Okay. And if it happens to have like a stealth up, I'm like, cool.
Most of the stealth up doesn't do anything.
No, I don't know.
It's such a pointless, unless you're sneaking up on a horse. I don't know why you'd even do that. A lot of those abilities are kind of pointless, but
The recipe like thing where you click on a cooked item and it shows the recipe. Was that in Breath of the Wild?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't
No,
even
there
know
was
you could
never
do
a
that.
recipe thing.
I know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even know what you're
They
talking about.
added pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see that.
There's a
on the
pizza.
internet.
No, I like that you can bring up the recipe because if
Yeah,
you
that
want
is
to
good.
remake something.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
know.
never a thing.
You got to show me that later.
Sure.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. I guess most of mine come in the late game of just the repetitiveness of it all, because I've been in Hyrule for so long now. I'm not overwhelmed anymore. I'm just kind of working through the side quests and
They should have
picking up
stocks like
shrines.
they do in Grand Theft Auto.
I gotta be honest. What did you say?
So they should have stocks like they do in Grand Theft Auto. You could pull out your phone and you just
They might.
invest your actual in-game money
Your
in the
Purapad?
stock market.
Mm.
Yeah, Purapad has like friggin'
Has Robin Hood on it.
E-Trade on it. Yeah, Rob.
By late game, I've mapped the entire sky and I've demolished the sky. It didn't take too long. I think you could finish everything in the sky in a day if you built an air bike and just flew around, which is what I did. I haven't mapped the entire depths. I'm doing it bit by bit. But once I ruled out the sky and I only had the land of Hyrule and the depths, it started to feel like Breath of the Wild. I could just build things now. So like it doesn't feel that different anymore. I've done most of the major things that made the game different. And now in post game, it's very familiar feeling. I'm going back through getting shrines, getting Koroks, and finishing up side quests. And some of the side quests are really cool, but it definitely now feels way more like the last game again.
I think the biggest difference is the way you get around and stuff, because you have you build the stuff because that feels good to do.
You don't need a horse anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I was getting frustrated because I kept losing my horse and I was like whistling and I'm like, where's he coming? Why is he here? And people were like, no, if you walk too far away, he's not going to come. And I was like, I don't remember that. I don't remember it because in the first game, I was trying so hard to keep him around.
Yeah.
And in this game, I'm like, fuck the horse. I
If
got
you-
all this crazy
yeah.
shit I can do.
If you
and I
lose
just
him,
never,
you just build something.
yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've just like, forget the horse. I got all
Or you
this
fly
cool
to the
stuff.
closest, or teleport to the closest tower and just fly.
I just go up. I just get myself as high up as I can go. And then I just...
Now, here's a question. Is this a Mandela effect or am I insane? There was, I swear, a trailer early on for Tears of the Kingdom where Link turned into like water and dripped up into the sky.
No, that wasn't him doing that. That was just that drop of water.
Oh, he was just reversing the water?
Well, it was essential. I think that was all like
Abstract.
story of like the teardrop
Okay.
and
You know what
then the
confused me then?
reverse, and then him going up into the
I was gonna say,
ground.
because that clip of Link near the water puddle and then the water puddle going up and then him popping out of the top, I think I just took that as at some point you can turn into water and drip up.
that I could see where you could think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a random thing that's been bugging me. I kept waiting to get that ability. I thought maybe I would I don't want to give too many spoilers, but Sidon would eventually give me that ability, and he just never did. Because he's the water guy. His ability is the worst. That's another complaint I have, by the way. Here's another complaint.
I don't like that they follow you around and stuff.
You can turn him off.
Yeah.
But Sidon has the most useless ability out of all of them.
What is it? That's the one I'm going to, isn't it?
Yes. So when you activate him, he creates a water bubble around you that'll take a hit. But it only lasts like 10 seconds. And if you attack while you have it, it turns it into a water blast and you lose it.
Oh.
Now, here's why this sucks. The water blast does no damage. I mean, maybe if it's a fire enemy, but how often are you coming? It's so specific. It taking a hit is awesome, but if I can't attack, what am I doing? I'm just running around like, you can't get me. Oh, you got me. I guess I'll attack you now. The other abilities, I won't ruin them all for you. They all have uses. They're all sick.
Maybe I'll skip that guy.
The Goron ability is maybe a little lackluster, but yeah, his is like absolutely useless, and he just gets in the way of the fights.
In the first game, I got the one that revives you.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty essential.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the Goron one that
those
takes
abilities
a hit.
Were so much better.
Yeah.
Even Rivali's
And those
Gale.
are the only two that I got,
Mhm.
and then I beat the game with those. So I want to do something similar with this.
Every one of those abilities were sick. I want to ruin something for you, but I don't want to.
I don't care. I'm down. I don't give a shit.
So if we're comparing them, the Goron ability in the last game, you could hold left trigger and have a shield whenever you wanted it.
Yeah.
And it would take a hit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of equivalent to what Sidon does, except it's on a timer, which is really lame. And then the water thing does nothing. You have a revive ability, which is just insane.
Yeah, I
you have
need that.
Rivali's Gale, which blows you up and then makes it easy to traverse. Talon's ability blows you this way, which is really handy when you're in the sky. Or
Yeah, I've been using it
around.
a lot. Yeah.
And I use it all the time, but I would rather have Rivali's Gale. They kind of replace Rivali's Gale by there's a pine cone you can put into a fire that creates a Rivali's Gale.
And also the fan.
Also bombs.
just get a fan.
Anything with fire.
I guess there's a ton of different ways you
Yeah.
can do it.
And the ascend ability.
it's just not as free.
But you don't need. The reality is you don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
you have the lightning ability, which
That was great.
in the other game, you would hold down a charge and it would zap everything in the area. Now it creates a ring that slowly starts moving out. And whenever something's in the ring, you can strike an arrow and it'll lightning strike that area, which is great, but it doesn't do everything. And you have to stop everything you're doing to try and hit something specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think all of the abilities are crap compared to the previous abilities. But what makes it worse is the previous ones were automatic on button presses or certain things you could do. This one, you have to run and chase after one of the NPC characters. And like, it's so annoying because
It's annoying when they're just around and you do it by accident.
the lightning girl is aggressive. So if there's a bunch of enemies, she's always in the enemies. So if I want to strike them with lightning, I've got to run up to them and in them and try and spam A on her and then like back up and try and shoot.
Oh, they're
Talon
not like,
is so frustrating because when enemies die and drop loot, I'll be pressing A like rapidly to try and pick him up, and he'll walk over like, "What you finding there, buddy?"
Yeah.
And then you'll hit A and A again, and he'll gust everything away and like down the cliff. And I'm like, "No, Talon, you idiot!"
They're useful to have around because they attack enemies.
They are,
around
yes,
you.
and
Yeah.
you can level them up, and they
So they're
actually do
like
a lot of
assists.
damage. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Talon will always get headshots with a bow and like do massive damage.
Yeah, that's why I like having him there.
So
but
that's
he
sick.
is annoying.
But trying to get the abilities is insane. And I also don't understand why it's A to use their ability. And when it brings up that cooldown bar, there's like a whole interface of A, X, Y, and B.
yeah.
But you never use X, Y, and B. Every one of their abilities is on A.
Yeah, it should
That's
be.
weird.
It should be you hold something.
And then you can
and then-
rotate.
and then you press.
And you should be able to do that whenever you want.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to go and talk to Lightning Girl in mid-fight? Why can't I
Yeah.
do hold button X? And now I've yelled at her in Link yelling, which is nothing. And then she knows to start expanding the
It
field.
should be another wheel,
And
or the ABX.
They're always grouped together. So if I run up to them and I hit A trying to get one ability, I will always get a different ability.
Yeah.
And then I've got to deal with that and get that out of the way. And then there's another, and this is a big spoiler. So I don't know if you guys want it or not.
I'll take it. I don't give a shit. She doesn't want it.
whatever. I mean, I really haven't played much of the game.
Don't
but-
listen. Close your ears. There's a fifth one
Okay.
you get later. That one you can ride.
Whoa.
So mid-fight, when I'm like trying to pick up a weapon quickly or I'm trying to like do something, all of a sudden I'm like, why am I not moving? And I'm like, why can't I? Oh, I'm on the back of this thing. And I have to press a button to get ready to get off and then jump off. And then try. So I always turn, every time I get into a fight, I turn that one off right away. He's always off.
Wait,
She's always off.
can I? Are these always on, or like are
you can turn
do
them
they
off.
Get triggered but do they get triggered the second you start going up to an enemy?
No, you need to turn them back
They
on.
literally,
Okay.
if you have them enabled, they walk around everywhere with you.
I've seen it, but I was
Yeah.
just
Which,
like,
by the way, makes the game lag in big
Yeah,
fights because it's
I
you,
figured.
5 other people, and then enemies.
But you kind of want them on because they fight enemies for you.
yeah.
So it's like kind of cool having them around, but it
I
makes the game a little
usually
different.
have them all off except Talon until a big fight, and then I'll turn them all on.
Okay, that's a good idea.
I don't necessarily know how much I like that.
I don't love it.
Yeah,
I
'cause
would
that just seems
rather-
like it just seems kind of like a mess.
I think the idea is cool of having them there and fighting alongside you because they do decent damage and it's kind of nice.
They should only be there for fighting.
That or just change the way you interact with them to get their abilities.
Both.
Because having to run up to everyone individually and press A when they're all clumped together is a nice.
Yeah, like
it
why
should
don't they
be
just
both.
make it like the down D-pad or something? Another
There
D-pad.
it needs to be another wheel that comes up along with the weapons and stuff.
because it would make sense. I feel because all of those things sound like charge abilities. They all sound like
Yeah,
something.
no, they
where
are.
They all
if
go
you
on
had-
cooldown.
They're special attacks.
No, but I mean,
basically.
like if you were to hold your sword button.
Oh, that's how it was in the last game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's what they all sound like to me.
I think they tried to make them more instant, but
I
the
like
fact
that.
that you have to go and talk to them inherently makes them way
That's
less
so
instant.
weird. to
they're
me.
on a cooldown, so it's like.
But why talk to this? That makes no sense.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that really breaks the game. You're in a fight, you want to do an action, you gotta walk over to this guy. Hey, go!
Give me the shield.
blow your wind
And,
this
and
way.
by the way, when you're trying to get it, by the time you finally get it, someone's hitting you and the shield's gone.
Yeah.
Like, give me the shield.
yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
The lions,
Yeah.
like how they talk,
Yeah.
like that.
No, like when you launch his ability,
Oh,
he
you got
says-
him already, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't finish that area, but I got him. But he sounds so dumb.
Oh, his voice quips.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly what he says, but yeah, it's like, I got it, I'm on it.
Yeah.
So this Goran guy,
Okay.
after you have him equipped,
I loved him in the first game.
every single thing that you get on to ride or drive, he will automatically snap to the front and start spinning.
Oh,
and
that sucks.
You can shoot him by pressing A.
I watched her do that.
Yeah.
I thought I was only for that one
It's
part.
it's honestly never actually useful because you can't aim him. He's just a straight line. So you can kind of aim what you're looking at. But like if you're in a car, you can't go up and down. So he'll only shoot in one direction. So if you want to
Yeah.
shoot something up there, you can't. So it's so specific, but he's always there.
Yeah.
In your face, spinning around.
Now, will he fight enemies while you're just walking around fighting?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only when you're on like a moving vehicle,
Okay.
which is kind of cool how it works because you can take like a log and attach wheels to it, and he'll know to be at the front of the log. So it's interesting the way it's designed. But as soon as he does that, I have to hit start and turn him off because I'm like, you're so ugly.
How do you turn them off? Is you have to go into the
You go
menu?
into
In
key
pause menu.
items
Are you
and then
serious?
hit a medallion and dismiss.
only when they're there. Like you could permanently dismiss them.
They are always there unless you dismiss them. And then they are dismissed until you invite them back.
I
The
was
same
talking.
way.
They're only there because you have something enabled in the menu.
Okay, so you could disable that though.
Yes.
I
and they
would
won't
probably
Dismissing
go
is
the whole thing.
disabling and just getting rid of them.
Yeah, the way you made it sounded like they will always pop up and you have to go in the menu and dismiss them every time.
No.
because that would be terrible.
It's the kind of thing where like it will annoy you, so you'll turn it off in the moment,
Yeah.
but then you'll need them again in a few minutes, or you'll at least want them again, whether it's because you want an ability or there's a fight coming up, and then you'll forget to turn them off until they annoy you again, and then you're like, oh right, turn
When
you
you
off.
get them, you get a medallion, and you just disable the medallion.
You actually get a ring, but in the menu it looks like a medallion.
Tulin has this cool little like anklet, and I immediately
I know,
went
he's
to
such a cutie.
I immediately went to Etsy and I was like, Tulin's anklet. Nobody made this yet.
Really?
I
They'll be
actually
made
did
soon.
see on Twitter someone making a mock-up because there's the map ability on the ring, and someone did do like a mock-up of where like it showed a medallion and then it went into another little
Oh
ring,
yeah, that's how it
and
should
it
be.
was 4 medallions of like, oh, you could pick whoever you want to be your assist.
Yeah.
Well,
It should be you go to the medallions and then you press A, B, X, or Y for the one that you want.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's a map
I want the rings.
shortcut.
I hope someone makes the rings.
Those would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe that is a future update where they actually do that and replace the map, because the map is fucking pointless.
I don't think they're going to do something that drastic. That's like a big
it just
UI
seems pointless
change.
to have a map as like a shortcut.
Yeah, that's
just
literally the
minus.
select button.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you want? What do you want?
So you know how in your shortcuts for like
When you hold down
Ultra Hand and
the
stuff,
L button, it brings
There's
up the
a- there's
wheel
a map
of the
option.
abilities. The map is on that wheel of abilities for some
What does
reason.
it do when you click on
it just
that?
goes to the map.
Oh, I've never done
like
that.
how you would hit minus.
I've never done
It's
that.
the same exact
Yeah.
function.
So that
Oh.
we're
So
saying
seems
that should be the
pointless.
medallions.
So
That should
someone
bring
made,
up the medallions, and then you press the
someone
one
made
you
a
want.
mock-up of that where they replaced the map and then put the medallions there, which
Oh.
makes sense.
That would be good. Yeah.
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 So yeah, because I got that and I was like, why is this here? I'm
Yeah,
never.
I had
gonna
no
use
idea the
this.
map was there.
Yeah, it's the green one.
I don't know how much time do we have?
Like 5 minutes.
Less. Yeah.
To talk about something I do like though. I really do like the new abilities more than the old abilities.
Oh yeah, the
So
ascend and
the-
stuff.
Yeah, the ascend and all of that. So I don't like the character abilities as much, but I like Link's abilities way more.
Yeah.
I think they flow together so well this time, because last time we had Magnesis, which was only for metal stuff, Crisis, which made platforms out of ice. We had Freeze Time. None of those really worked together. Like you couldn't really use Crisis and Freeze Time together, or even Magnesis and Freeze Time or Crisis. Like none of
Stasis.
them. Stasis, thank you. None of them really worked together. These new abilities, they all work together really well. Like you can move something with the hand up, and then you can like drop it, use Crisis to like make it go back up to where you had it. You can use Ascend to zip up into it and through it, and then use it as a platform.
Yeah.
And that's just one example of how well all of the new abilities really flow together and make exploring the game so much fun. I also like even just the way that they're mapped. When you press L, Ascend is up on the D-pad.
Oh, cute.
The God hand is right, which is his right hand. The down is what's down? Is fuse, and usually you're fusing things on the ground. And then left is
Time.
Yeah.
time, which I think is just left because
left.
that's
It's
the last.
rewind.
Backwards.
Oh my god! I don't know if that's intentional, but
I don't know, because in
It all
Japan it'd be
seems
the other. It'd be the other way. I
yeah,
think.
everything about it. And I thought about that while I was playing. I'm like, man, this is all very flowy, like so well.
If
thought
only
out.
the weapons were like that,
If only the weapons were like that,
and the
Yeah.
and the medallions or whatever they're called.
But yeah, no, I love that. And like, a lot of people are like, yeah, you're like God in this game. I think most people like it. Some people don't. But again,
Yeah.
I think you are God enough to a point where it's still fun, but you don't feel untouchable.
Oh no, I have hard times in the game,
Yeah.
but moving around feels really good, because the
Moving
whole
around
time
feels so
I'm
much better.
the whole time I'm moving around, I'm solving little mini puzzles. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, how could I? All right, I'm in the middle of this like open plains area. How do I get up really high so I can fly over to the tower?
Mm-hmm.
So I got to solve all these little puzzles. Oh, maybe I can reverse this up to the sky, use that, and then I get a little bit of airtime, and then I can end up over
You
here.
know
and-
what's insane for stuff like that? Auto build.
Yeah, I want that. That's why I want that.
Initially, when I got auto build, I was like, oh, this is nice. Now, when I've made something, I'll just like bring out the items. I'll have it build itself. I don't have to keep remaking the same thing. Nice
Yeah, I
little
can just
ability.
make like a little rocket thing and get
But
myself.
what
up.
I didn't really think about is if you're missing a piece, the Zionite that you have, you can pay to create it instead.
Yeah.
But not just for Zonite materials, anything. So now I have like in the stone area, I didn't build this, I actually got a schematic for this, but you could do this. You build a stone platform, a bunch of stones high, and then a stone top. It's just all stones. But once you've done it and you save it to your favorites, it costs like 10 Zonite and you can build it whenever you want, and it's scaffolding.
So
you can ascend to the top and then you're high. And if there's like a cave top, you can ascend further.
hold on a second. I thought auto build used those little gotcha balls.
It does,
Okay.
but it
It uses
uses
its own-
everything.
Yeah.
You can,
What do you
could,
mean it uses everything?
you could go to the Goron City, and there's like a table in one of the rooms, like an actual table, like a wooden asset.
Mhm.
You can grab that, you can fuse something to it, that's saved. You can make that table any way
Yeah.
you want.
No, I understand.
But
But,
I-
but when you, let's say you want to auto build that table later on,
Mhm.
do you need a wood table?
No, that's what I'm saying. You just pay like 5
pay
Zonai
Zonai,
it just
and it
appears.
makes
See,
the table.
I didn't know that. I thought it was if you want to make a car with rockets, you need rockets and
You don't
wheels
need
and stuff.
anything.
So you just use Zonite money.
Do you remember watching me trucking around?
Yeah.
You remember when the truck was green?
I didn't watch that one.
That later, if you go back and later, my entire truck is green. It's because I lost the first truck, didn't have the materials to make it again, but auto build recreated it for like 50 Zonite. It remade the entire thing.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
So I didn't need any of the materials.
That's cool. Because otherwise I would just use the Zonite in those pachinko machines and just get
I know.
all these little balls.
I know. I mean, the auto build is handy. Like I have an air bike, like I said, and it's nice because it's so specific how you have to make it so that it flies perfectly.
Yeah.
I have it saved to auto build. So I go into my inventory, I drop 2 fans and a stick, and then I'm like auto build done. But if I didn't have 2 fans and a stick, I could pay 9 Zonite and make it out of green. And
so you don't even have to pay the Zonite. You can use regular
Yes.
materials.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And if
really
you have
cool.
like half and half, it'll just cost
split to
half
death.
of whatever it is that you need.
That's
Wow.
That's awesome that they even thought of that.
I know.
Yeah.
The fact that you can literally save anything you touch into
Yeah.
auto build is crazy.
Yeah, I need to get that. That's in the. I mean, we're spoiling now, but that's in the depths
Yeah.
somewhere, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I watched somebody.
The
getting that.
storyline for that is actually really cool. It continues on after that. And if you follow it along, you unlock a bunch of schematics. And schematics will literally just give you an auto build you can make.
Mhm.
And yeah, you don't even have to actually make it. One of the auto builds is really cool too. It's a fishing boat where it's like a boat with a little lightning rod at the front. And when you're riding around, it's zapping all the water and all the fish will die and then get caught in the boat. And you just pick up all the
I've
fish.
seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot
the
of
game
Zelda
is so
content.
cool. I wanted to complain because I think it's interesting
It's
to
worth
talk about.
complaining about.
I
To
think
talk
we have
about
some valid
things we
criticisms.
don't like, but I want to stress for everything I don't like, there's 100 things I love.
Yeah, no, the game's amazing.
Yeah.
Will I play more of it?
I hope you do. But
I just want to take a weekend and play it because I haven't had that time to do it, and I feel like I need that to really get into it. So I'm literally, I'm.
I
23
felt
hours
I
in.
felt like I hadn't even scratched the surface until maybe like 50 hours
That
in.
makes sense.
And then I started to feel like surface has been scratched. And now I feel like I'm just doing the mundane. But when I finished the game, I finished at 44% completion because it gives you a percentage
wow.
when you finish.
It sounds like a lot for that game.
It's a lot because I've been playing for another week and 30 hours more, and all I've been doing is shrines and unlocking the depths and side quests. I've done it non-stop. I've rebuilt an entire village and I'm at 53%.
Oh my god!
Like it's barely moved, and I've done
Jesus.
so much. So yeah, it's a big game.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for watching again. I love.
Hey, did you see last week's episode?
Let's see if it's fixed. Hold on.
So I don't know if we talked about it. Did we talk about it?
You could. She probably should talk about it.
Last week we had an issue where we did a live stream right here for the first time. We did a
It
live.
was
here in the
fantastic. We
studio.
loved everything about it, other than
We had a glitch while we were ending the stream, and it processed in a weird, wacky way, and only 3 minutes of the video ended up on YouTube somehow.
it's still only 3 minutes too.
I don't know what happened.
We in the back end where you like place ads into the episodes, there's the full timeline in there we found.
We
The
tried to
full-
finagle it because the video is all there. We live streamed
In
the
the
whole
back
thing.
end, it's
People
all there.
watched it. Yeah, and it says an hour and 5 minutes, but then you click on it and it says 3 minutes.
So we tried this hack where you use a YouTube editor tool to cut some out, and it tricks it into reposting the whole thing. E saw that on Reddit, I think.
Yeah.
And I did that, but I think that's still processing, and right now it still says 3 minutes. In the chat, people are saying like in the comments like it's 14 minutes for them, it's 3.5. Someone said it's 2 minutes, but I think the common consensus is that it's 3 minutes.
Yeah,
still.
YouTube completely fucked last week's episode.
I mean, by this point, we figured out a fix. We've either re-uploaded it or it's fixed. So sorry, though, if you were early and you tried to watch it and it was only 3 minutes. Audio listeners didn't have a problem.
Yeah,
So there you go. That's a win for iTunes.
there you go. Never look at us. Just listen to us.
Never look
Faces
at us.
for radio.
Yeah.
Never look. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another podcast episode. We love you so much.
Goodbye.
We're about to do another bonus episode for Patreon. So $5 a
See you
month. You
later.
can see that bonus episode. Last week was so fun. We answered Patreon questions. We talked about Bob's band. What will we talk about today? Probably
This-
more Zelda.
This mic smells like cigarettes.
Why? All right.
I think all music
Like, comment,
equipment smells
subscribe.
like
See you guys
cigarettes.
next week. We love you so much. Check out Skillshare. Links down below.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 I'm trying to fix the episode still. It's broken. Bye.